I'm just gonna go straight into it, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So, what do you think the main goal of the G7 should be?
Well, you've probably seen the agenda that it's set for itself.
Yeah.
Personally, I feel that the absolutely overriding goal should be tackling the climate emergency. It's by far the most urgent issue, which is on the agenda. I think it's the second item on the agenda. In my view, it should be at the top, but I think the first item on its agenda is recovery from the COVID pandemic.
Well, yeah, I think totally that is probably the biggest issue at the moment. Is two biggest issues is the coronavirus and also global warming at the moment. But like with like also the protests that are going to be happening, do you think that could be a danger to the local community in Cornwall, because there's going to be people coming from all areas of the country, and do you think that could spread the coronavirus? Or
I think there are some question marks over that, but I think there's a big question mark over whether it's actually wise for the G7 to be held in Cornwall at the current time, including invitations to Narendra Modi from India, for example. India is in the grip of absolutely a terrible phase of the coronavirus crisis, with new variants emerging there, which are definitely a threat to this country as well. All of these leaders will be accompanied by big entourages of aides and security staff and so on. So I think it's possible that it may have to be cancelled, and I think it would certainly be sensible to be looking again at if it's really a good idea at the current time to be holding this summit.
Yeah, because especially
as for the process, yes, I think it certainly protesters need to be thinking quite hard about how they're protesting and whether it's really sensible to be inviting thousands of people from outside Cornwall into Cornwall at this time. The Green Party is taking a slightly different view, I think, from the Resist G7 group. That group, quite understandably, sees the G7 as a kind of capitalist club that can't possibly do any good to anyone. And I think there are good reasons to, looking at the G7's record, to think that there's some truth in that. However, these leaders are actually in a position to take really significant steps that could make a big difference to whether or not the world actually does manage to address the climate crisis.
Obviously, you organised a protest in the past, like the one in 2009. You can organise the first big climate protest in Cornwall to like coincide with the Copenhagen Climate Summit.
Yes, I think it was, well, certainly one of the first.
Yeah.
And that was a key moment for the world, really. And it's really shocking that so little has been done since the Copenhagen Summit. The Copenhagen Summit didn't really succeed. And the next kind of really significant step was the Paris Agreement. I think that has a bigger chance of succeeding, but right now it's not looking terribly positive, to be honest. Countries are making, very nice sounding commitments, but they're just not living up to them.
Do you think that people should be allowed to just, speak their mind at the G7 and should be allowed to protest, even though it is a risk?
I'm absolutely in favour of people being allowed to protest. I think that's a essential part of living in a democratic society. It will be interesting to see how the government and the police deal with the process. And I think there are some worrying signs that they may be rather suppressed